Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited to have you join me today because we have a really awesome tutorial. Now this is for Silhouette, Cricut, any other cutters out there, even Sublimation. Guys, we're going to teach you how to create your own audio WAV file.
All right, guys, so here we are in Silhouette Studio. And I do a lot of my file designing setup in Silhouette Studio. So I find it very useful for setting up files like this, but you can technically do this in whatever software you prefer. I do have the added benefit that when I'm ready to complete this project, I can go ahead and cut my vinyl designs and things like that in Silhouette Studio also on my Cameo. So it's kind of a win-win. But what I wanted to go ahead and tell you is we're going to be combining a lot of different elements. So what I've done is I have, let's zoom out here a little bit, but I have modified my page setup panel to reflect the size of the sign that we're going to be using. This is a farmhouse sign. So what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I have my machine for the moment selected to none. My cutting mat will also be none. And then my media size will be custom. So I have 24 inches wide and 12 inches high. Again, it just reflects the size of the sign. Now what I've also done is I have added this rectangle in the middle because I'm using a farmhouse sign and it has a border all the way around the outside. So having this added rectangle here is going to help me to really size the design appropriately to make sure that I take that outside border into consideration. It's going to be just really useful for making sure that everything's the right size and the layout is appropriate. But technically, you can do the same process in whatever designing software you're already familiar with. So if you want to do the same thing in Cricut Design Space, or you want to set this up in Illustrator or Adobe, whatever works for you. But this is what works for me. And like I said, we're going to combine a lot of different elements, and Silhouette Studio is really great for doing that with all the tools that we have available for us, okay? Now, a few of those elements that I can go ahead and bring in, I'm going to bring in a copy of the photo that I'm going to use, and all I'm doing, I have a File Explorer open, I'm just going to drag and drop that over. And I don't have to know exactly where I'm going to put it right away, but we could just size it down and kind of play with it a little bit. Once you really determine how you want the layout to be, that's when we're actually going to start modifying things. Now, I picked a time-relevant photo, but what I'm actually going to link to and use in this design is a video. So we're going to start here on YouTube because I just want you to see exactly how easy it is to upload a basic video to YouTube. What I did is I went to my Facebook page and, don't be like Becky, but Facebook is kind of my recording of my life story, right? I share a lot of things with friends and family there, so it's a really great resource. But what I did is I downloaded the video to my computer, my laptop, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube. But YouTube does have a way, in case you're worried, it has a way for me to restrict access. So I'm going to show you that part, but we're going to go ahead and start by uploading. I'm going to grab the video that I have here, just click open, and it's going to upload it, and this is the editing screen. All right, I can name it whatever I want to name it. I'm not going to name it, actually. I'm not going to put a description. I'm not going to put a thumbnail. None of that, for my purposes, are relevant, but you may want to do that. I don't need a playlist. There's not a whole lot that needs my attention other than I do need to make sure I mark it that it's not for children, because that comes, with a whole different set of requirements. So let's go ahead and click next. Video elements, I don't need any of these. Checks for copyright, things like that, I don't need anything like that. It's my own video. It doesn't have any music or anything. And then this is where I'm really want to pay attention, because this is where I'm going to determine who's able to see this video. Now, I don't want to set it completely to private because, as you can see under unlisted, I need people to be able to click on the link. Because remember, we are combining a QR code in here, and the QR code is going to use that link. So if the link is private, then the QR code won't work. But just make sure you don't have it set to public. You don't want to schedule it. You just want it to post right away. And, there's just a warning to say, hey, just make sure that you really want to do this because it's going live right now. So go ahead and hit save. And it does take a few minutes for it to fully upload, but for our purposes, this is as live as we need it to be. And then it does give us the link. We can go ahead and copy that to our clipboard and close it. And if I come over to content, you'll see that there is my video, and it is in fact marked as unlisted. So I'm going to go ahead and show you another website. Now, I found this just through a basic Google search. You guys have seen our other videos on creating a QR code. So this will just be quick. I'm just going to paste in a copy of the link to my video. That way I can download the QR code. Now, there's nothing special about this website other than you just want to make sure that, it is in fact free and that your link is going to work forever. I'm not going to do anything special other than just download this QR code. And then this pop-up kind of makes you think that you need to go ahead and sign up for an account, but there's actually just a small delay, but the file will start downloading to your downloads folder. So you can just close that out whenever you're ready, and then your QR code will be saved to your computer. If you scroll down, like I said, this one is free. It's going to save your link forever. But a lot of them do have some fine print or some paid benefits. So just make sure you check that over when choosing a QR code generator. Now let's go ahead and bring our QR code into Silhouette Studio. That way we'll just have it there and ready for us. There's nothing we really need to do with it at this point, but just to, I like to bring them in as I work on them. I have a pretty forgetful memory, so I don't want to get to the end and realize I've forgotten to add my QR code. Now I am going to use printable vinyl for the QR code and for the photo. So, just a little tidbit, I'm not going to trace that and turn it into a cut file. But let's go ahead and talk some more about our video. Now, to use the Soundwave creator that I found, I need to convert the audio from that video into an MP3. So I just went to Google and I searched for MP4, which is the format of my video, and into an MP3 converter. And this website popped up. It's a good website. I've used it in the past. I can just upload my video here. It's going to convert it for me, and then I'm just going to re-download, and it will just be that audio. So really super easy. There's truly nothing complicated. You can listen to the preview if you want. Mine's on the longer side. It's actually a full 19 seconds, but I don't really need to. I just need to go ahead and download that to my computer. And then I'm going to show you the Soundwave website. Now, this was a completely new website to me. I haven't used it before. And again, I just searched for, I think I searched for audio wave generator. So let's go back to Google and we'll just do a basic search. This is what I do every time I'm looking for a new converting website to use. But guys, just remember that anytime you're uploading and downloading from a website, you do want to make sure you do your due diligence as far as, having antivirus software and whatnot, because you are downloading these files. So, just search for Audio Wave Creator, and I came across this website. Super easy, super easy. Now, all I'm going to do is scroll down, click on the little upload button right there, find our newly created MP3 file, go ahead and upload that to the website. Again, super easy. And just make sure that you are choosing the MP3 and not your video file, okay? If you have problems finding your most recent files, you can sort those out, okay? But no big deal. It should be right there in your downloads. After it uploads, you're going to scroll down, and it's going to give you some options here. First of all, you can control the size. I'm going to choose the larger size. I just feel like I get a better image because I'm going to be tracing it. I'm going to set the foreground color to black, the background color to transparent. I don't really need any of these other options on here. I'm just going to come down here and choose OK. Now, once this is generated, it'll tell you can just right click on the image, choose, save. I think I choose save image as. There we go. And then again, I'm just going to dump this right here in my downloads folder so that I can bring it over into Silhouette Studio and it's easy to find. But that's all I need to do with that. So we just reload our downloads, drag and drop our sound wave over, and then we can close out the File Explorer. Now I do want to go ahead and size this down. I don't need it super large. I am going to have to trace it though. So I may want to, bring it a little larger. But I'm going to leave the QR code and the image where they are, because like I said, I'm just going to print them. Now, I'm going to show you how to set up this file, but we're not actually going to cut it today. All right, so don't let that disappoint you too much. We are going to have a follow-up video for you to show you how to actually assemble this. But let's make this larger, and we're going to go ahead and use our trace panel to get a good trace. So I'm going to reduce my scale. And I'm going to increase my threshold a little bit because I do want this to be accurate. I want it to trace all the pieces, but I don't really want any more detail than I have to have. All right, so thicken it up a little bit. We're going to delete the original image, and then I can fill it with black and also go ahead and change the line color to transparent. Now, what I'm going to do is I can just go ahead and size this side to side. You'll see that I have a little bit on each side that's just like a little offshoot before the sound actually starts. So that's really useful because it'll help me to be able to line this up, and those little pieces will just hide under the frame on my my sign. Okay. So I can move this really, any position. I chose a long frame because I knew this was a longer audio file. And then let's go ahead, let's move our picture just a little bit. Actually, I want to, and you could put it anywhere you want. I think that's too small. So I'm actually going to move that and make it a little bigger. And I actually have a pretty cool trick to show you guys with the where the audio wave file overlaps. But the same, just go ahead and remember that this sign is 24 inches wide, so you don't have to have a super large QR code if this looks too big to you or it's in the way. Really, it's whatever size works for you, but it's going to be more like a sticker. So I created a duplicate of both my photo and the little sound wave file, the audio file, and I'm going to choose crop. And that's just going to select the area that overlaps the photo. Okay, so I'm just going to use Control down, put that back in place. And now do you see how the white stands out more against the photo? And if I put the sound wave image back in place, we're going to send it to back. And it creates that little contrast. So that's just kind of like a neat little effect you can do. Now, I'm going to leave the white in place and group it together with the photo. But I also want to subtract the photo from the black sound wave. That way, whenever I do cut the sound wave, I'm not having to layer the photo over top of it, okay? So I will print the white and the photo together, and then I will cut the black out of vinyl, okay? And when I say print, I'm still talking about printable vinyl. So a lot of times when you look at these, they will come with the text. It's just basically like a translation of the words or the voice that is in the audio file. So I'm going to go ahead and type out what this audio file says. It's actually a little video we took from my daughter to my husband back when she was really, really young. If you're cutting this out of vinyl, which of course I am, you do want to make sure you choose a nice thick font. Okay, you don't really want a thin font for this. So let's go ahead and get that text in place, and then we will talk some more about what we're going to do. All right, guys, so our file is basically complete. There will be, like I said, combining the different items, but let me give you a preview of what it's going to look like. I'm just going to add a wood border around because I'm going to do a traditional farmhouse. I'm going to do a stained wood border and a white background. But I mean, that's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to reconvene in a follow-up video, and I will show you all about breaking up this file, cutting and printing the different pieces that we need, including, the photo and then the text. And then I will show you the farmhouse sign kit that I have and the printable vinyl I use and how to cut the vinyl and how to line it all up and get really good alignment on your sign like this. So I guess I'm going to touch up this photo a little bit too. It's a little dark. Anytime you're dealing with photos, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and brighten them up a little bit. But for the most part, guys, this video is concluded and we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So guys, the audio WAV file. I know probably when you're watching the intro, you're like, what in the world is an audio WAV file? But guys, it is really, really useful. It's really cool. It is a very cool project to be able to do. I could honestly think of a million reasons that I would want to do that, whether it's a memorial item, whether it's a baby heartbeat, okay? Again, just really cool, really neat project. And being able to link it up with our QR codes, also really helpful, right? So I'm going to wrap it up for today. But guys, if you have any questions or comments, definitely make sure you leave that down below for me. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing about your projects. I love helping you anytime that I can. And just make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you learned something today, give the video a quick thumbs up. Share with your crafty friends because everybody needs to learn these tips and tricks. So thanks again, guys, for stopping by. I do appreciate it, and we'll see you again next time.